It's really one of the first times we've had to come back to Pine Ridge after the closure of the beer stores 2 years ago. I thought it would be appropriate to spend some time and reflect on the work of our friend Frank Lemire and the work of our friend Alan Jacobson. If you want to share a story or share a thought, you're sure welcome to do so.
So as I got out of the car, I was thinking about, this doesn't seem right that we're not waiting for Frank, or following Frank, or listening to Frank, or having, I joke, he used to tap me and say, go run to the store, I forgot tobacco. And I'd always like, I don't know what kind to buy.
When we were up here in 2016, John and I and Nancy drove to Rushville to get some sheriff reports. And John had requested those through the Freedom of Information Act. And I might add that we did not receive a warm reception at the sheriff's office in Rushville. But on the way back, we were visiting, and John said, well, how many true believers do you think we have? And I was being a little facetious. I said, I think we have 8. And John said, 8? We have more than 8. I said, well, how many do you think we have? And he said, I bet we have 40 or 45. But you think 1 year later, those beer stores were closed.
So when I walked down here, I looked out and I saw these 2 trees on that ledge right kind of behind you. There's 2 trees standing up. And I looked at them and I thought, I wonder if they're lonely. I wonder if they're scared up there on the top. I wonder, or maybe they're proud, but are they scared? Are they lonely? I was all worried about them. So I took a picture. I somehow connect with trees where I can go places. I took a picture and sent it to Audrey Sunnyboy, who's a really dear friend of ours. And she is the traditional healer for Tanana Chiefs Council at Athabascan community in Alaska. And I said, what do you think about these trees? Do you think they're lonely? Do you think they're scared? And she wrote back, texted me back and said, they're proud. They're sentinels. They're the lookouts. And I went, oh. And then I thought about the lookouts that we've had come before us. And Frank, look what he did. Alan. And John, you in that video. Nora, your work, the work you've been doing. I'm grateful, very grateful to get to be in this circle of amazing lookouts.
I think about our kids. When they come through, they're never going to know, really, or have to know what it was. They're going to only see what it is. And that's what I think is Frank's legacy and Alan's legacy, and I just know that we wouldn't probably be right here today without them, and without John and all the work that he's done, and without all of us coming together.
But I remember being in Whiteclay the first day when the stores had closed, and we were expecting, bedlam on the streets and detoxing people laying all over the place, and there was nobody. There was one guy, and he was just seeing what was going on, and Frank and I were there, and I remember Frank, at the same time we both realized this is the first day in so many decades where there's not been anybody beat up or assaulted or gang raped or murdered in Whiteclay for decades. None of these things will happen today in Whiteclay.
It was absolutely human. It was human from head to toe. But I'm not. I can't say I'm the person who spent the most time with him. I can't say I'm the person who knew him the best by any means. But his influence on me, and this is when I get choked up, is still something I'm figuring out. And it's been 4 months, but it's still fresh for me. So. That's all I have to say.
That was another saying Frank said, and I'll remember hopefully before tomorrow, but I think it was a Winnebago elder who once said, he's talking to the government at the time, and he said, you can help so many people if you want to. And the point was that it's our choice. And we can, as a group, as colleagues, as Nebraskans, South Dakotans, Oklahomans, Iowans, we can do the same thing if we choose to. And that's what I'm committing myself to, and I know that a lot of other people here are too. I've asked Nancy Carlson to kind of wrap us up with a prayer here before we go back.
Almighty God, creator of this beautiful world of ours, we thank you as we see the clouds, as we see the rocks, as we see your faithfulness and the sandhill cranes that come back every year to the Platte River. We thank you for the gift of laughter and the gift of tears. And we thank you especially for our friend Frank and our friend Alan. We thank you for their gift to us, and they were a gift to us from you. We ask that you give us strength, give us wisdom, give us courage as we move forward. And we know that you will allow us to do the work that you would have us do. We ask that you will bless our time tonight, bless our time tomorrow as we gather and work together to forward the dream that we all know can come true. We ask this in your name. Amen.